Chapter 1. What you really need to know about narcissistic relationships. Narcissistic relationships are often sustained by the hope of a better future, despite little evidence to support that hope. Unfortunately, that better future may never arrive. If you already know that your partner has a narcissistic personality, you may have some experience with how challenging these relationships can be. You might recognize their true nature but feel trapped, unable to make them leave or walk away yourself. Perhaps you see what they are doing to you but are unsure how to let go. Alternatively, you may have managed to walk away but worry about returning or not finding anyone better. These concerns are valid, which is why we are starting at square one, reclaiming your life. The term narcissism is frequently used and often misunderstood. It is most commonly associated with individuals who have strong personalities and whose confidence borders on arrogance. These individuals tend to dominate conversations, even on topics they are not well versed in, driven by a need to be the center of attention. While many of these behaviors resemble those of narcissistic personalities, there are key differences that set them apart. Understanding these distinctions is crucial, and we will discuss them in more detail later in the chapter. We will also explore the thought processes of narcissists. You may wonder why you would want to get into the mind of someone like that, but having this knowledge can give victims an advantage. Understanding how they operate will enable you to control your responses, diminishing their power over you. This insight will not only provide you with the courage to leave the toxic relationship but also strengthen your resolve against being drawn back in. Finally, we will cover possible explanations for how narcissists became the way they are. While we are not attempting to evoke sympathy for those who lack empathy for others, understanding the origins of their behavior can help you remain guarded against their manipulative tactics and guilt-inducing strategies. By the end of this chapter, you will have a clearer understanding of what you have been dealing with and may even start to feel more empowered. Narcissism 101. To some degree, most individuals display traces of narcissism occasionally. Children, for instance, are naturally narcissistic. They expect their needs and wants to be met regardless of the convenience to others and crave attention, working hard to obtain it. While children typically learn that such behavior is rude and unrealistic, those who do not develop more appropriate behaviors carry these traits into adulthood. Narcissism can initially be misinterpreted as strong self-confidence regarding one's identity, actions, and future goals. In this light, these individuals may appear mentally tough, with a clear path toward their achievements. The concern arises when their self-focus overshadows the needs and wants of others, marking the transition from someone who is simply secure in themselves to one exhibiting narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. NPD is characterized by an exaggerated view of self-importance. Specific traits commonly associated with narcissistic individuals include an inflated perception of their accomplishments, talents, and capabilities. Perfectionism in various areas of their lives, along with similar expectations from others. A need for constant attention and admiration that is never satisfied. A focus on superficial aspects such as appearance, possessions, and social status. An expectation of special treatment, even when undeserved. Manipulation and deceit to achieve their desires, often at the expense of others. Difficulty regulating their self-esteem. A lack of emotional connection with others, often associating only with those they perceive as being of similar status. Additionally, narcissists often lack respect for personal boundaries, leading to negative reactions from others. Accountability is crucial, as criticism may stem from deep insecurities hidden behind their facade. Individuals with narcissistic personalities can be insecure to the point of self-loathing, driving them to seek attention and view others as inferior. Categories of narcissism. Individuals can be grouped into four main categories based on their focus and expression of personality traits. 1. Classic narcissists. This group consists of stereotypical narcissists who openly display their traits. They often fail to recognize how their behavior is hurtful and tend to deflect blame onto others. 2. Closet narcissists. Also known as vulnerable narcissists, these individuals believe in their superiority but are more introverted and avoid the spotlight. Instead of seeking attention directly, they attach themselves to popular individuals who already receive special treatment. They garner attention by playing the victim or through false generosity, using their acts of kindness as a means to gain recognition rather than out of genuine concern. 3. Communal narcissists. These individuals present themselves as strong advocates for their community or specific charities, but their motives are not genuinely humanitarian. Instead, they seek praise and acknowledgement, using their support for causes to feed their misguided sense of self. 4. Malignant narcissists. This group is particularly toxic and ruthless. They are highly manipulative and often derive pleasure from exploiting others. Understanding these categories is essential for recognizing and addressing narcissistic behaviors. It's important to note that exhibiting certain narcissistic traits, especially in young people, does not necessarily indicate a developing disorder. Such traits can be typical for their age, focusing on the self. Here are some potential reasons for the development of narcissistic traits. Developing insensitivity at a young age. Absorbing manipulative tactics from caregivers, siblings, or peers. Receiving excessive praise for good behavior while being belittled for bad behavior. Experiencing unclear boundaries or expectations. Being subjected to unrealistic praise. Experiencing trauma, neglect, abandonment, or abuse in childhood. Receiving inconsistent or unreliable caregiving. Being overly indulged by those around them. Having an unrealistic focus on looks, body image, or abilities. With this foundation, you now have a clear understanding of narcissistic personality traits and their potential origins. The next chapter will explore the tactics narcissists use to manipulate others, especially within intimate relationships, along with important guidance on how to handle interactions with them. Chapter 2. The narcissist's tactics to control you. You can't force someone to respect you, but you can refuse to be disrespected. Understanding the nuances of narcissistic personalities is crucial for those close to them, as it provides insight into their behavior. For those who have endured toxic behavior for a long time, this knowledge can be protective. For newcomers to a relationship with a narcissist, this information can help you either proceed with caution or disengage before becoming more involved. While it may seem counterproductive to conduct extensive research on the narcissist in your life, remember that you aren't necessarily doing what they want. This information is for your benefit, not to inflate their ego. They are unaware that you are gathering insights to help you escape their influence and heal from their abusiveness. With this premise in mind, this chapter will outline the various tactics narcissists employ to try to regain control over you. While the terminology may not be familiar, recognizing these tactics, naming them, and stopping them is essential to breaking free. It's easy to fall into the strategies employed by narcissists, especially regarding their relationship tactics. Narcissists continue their toxic behavior because they are often allowed to do so. When they encounter someone who won't fall for their charms and understands how to combat their tactics, the narcissist will typically back off. They tend to lose interest quickly in a person from whom they have to work too hard to gain attention. That said, an important side note must be made: although most narcissists won't waste their time on someone they can't control, those who fall into a sadistic mindset are less likely to let go easily. This group may attempt to tarnish the victim's reputation or attack their good nature just to inflict pain. Remember, they derive pleasure from the suffering of others, so any retaliation from the victim won't be easily forgotten. However, don't despair. There is both light and protection discussed in the final section of the chapter. This section will address whether a narcissist can change and when to accept that they won't. This realization can be tough, as it also means accepting that you are a victim of abuse. The next chapter will guide you through understanding the dysfunctional coping methods of narcissists. In this chapter, we will explore the various controlling ways a narcissist shields their precious ego. They do this by practicing several forms of dysfunctional coping methods to control their partners or those close to them. If victims don't recognize these methods initially, they should aim to identify them as soon as possible when the narcissist's influence begins to wear off. Once the victim can see and label these methods, they can then utilize the suggestions provided in this book to not only control their reactions but also to revert responsibility back to the narcissist. It's important to note that recognizing these tactics is often easier than effectively responding to them. Initially, if one isn't strong enough to fight back, it is crucial to at least be consciously aware of what is happening. This awareness is the first important step in addressing the toxic treatment you will draw from during your healing process. The following are some of the most common tactics narcissists use to maintain their control. 1. Love bombing. Before a narcissist can implement their tricks, they must first gain the trust of the person they are targeting. Love bombing is a method they use to overwhelm their victim with affection and attention to establish a strong emotional connection. At first glance, narcissists may seem innocent and flattering, but their underlying intention is to overwhelm their targets with presents, surprises, and signs of affection in hopes of sparking interest in spending more time with them. While this may not seem obvious initially to the recipient, these actions are manipulative attempts to earn trust. So how can the recipient distinguish between genuine intentions and being snowed by a narcissist? From the narcissist's perspective, they are closely observing how you respond to their gestures and trying to cater to what makes you happiest. However, all this showering of affection comes at a great cost. Here's how love bombing typically appears to the recipient. 1. Things move too fast. A relationship should take time to develop, so it should raise alarms when someone talks about love, family, and marriage shortly after meeting. This approach can come across as extreme and over the top. 2. Telling you what you want to hear. Narcissists often say what you want to hear, even addressing your insecurities, without any sense of genuineness. If they sense you're not responding positively, they may take a step back until they can elicit the desired reaction. 3. Inconsistent kindness. A major hint that their intentions may not be genuine is if they treat you well but are unkind to others. Victims often miss this red flag because of how good the attention makes them feel, but it should serve as a neon sign that they could eventually be treated the same way. 4. Intrusive questions. Narcissists may start asking probing questions about any hard times you've gone through, pushing for you to be candid. This is another significant red flag, as such discussions should arise naturally when strong mutual trust has been established. The narcissist is merely gathering ammunition for future use. 5. Gaslighting is another manipulative tactic that often occurs before the recipient even realizes it's happening. This form of manipulation can leave victims confused and doubting their own sanity. When allowed to persist for too long, the victim may lose the ability to trust themselves or their perceptions of reality. Toxic individuals employ various gaslighting strategies, such as telling you that you aren't remembering something correctly or that you're overreacting when you know you're right. Making you feel that your thoughts and feelings don't matter to anyone else. Withholding information and then acting as if they don't know what you're talking about. Giving you the silent treatment. Making you doubt your own thoughts by questioning their validity. Justifying their actions by claiming it's for your own good. This manipulation shifts uncomfortable feelings or accountability onto someone else. A narcissist will avoid taking responsibility for their actions and will go to great lengths to make someone else feel accountable for their negative behaviors. Anyone who has argued with a narcissist is likely familiar with this strategy. This behavior involves avoiding an issue or problem by talking around it until the initial subject matter is lost or forgotten. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling lost, confused, or unsure of the point you were trying to make in the first place? In such cases, the narcissist has deflected the conversation as a way to evade accountability. 6. Distortion of truth. This is where the narcissist twists the truth in such a way that you begin to doubt yourself, even when the facts were clear in your mind prior to confronting them. Narcissists are masters of deceit and employ various methods to distort your reality. They constantly strive to prove themselves right, often basing their conclusions on a single incident and generalizing it to everything else based on their own perceptions. They tend to magnify the importance of specific details or completely disregard them. Narcissists often place unrealistic obligations on others and play the victim, even when the subject matter directly involves them. They utilize emotional manipulation to overshadow any sense of logical thinking. Not only do they expect others to meet their needs, but they also believe they are in control of themselves and everyone and everything around them. 7. Triangulation. This tactic involves the narcissist recruiting another person to create a sense of division, splitting individuals into a black and white dynamic with no other options for self-esteem. Sometimes, these strategies are so subtle that the target person isn't even aware it's happening until they find themselves in too deep. This manipulation can make it very difficult for the victim to recognize the dynamics at play in their relationship with the narcissist. You should still be able to sense when something isn't right based on your feelings, as feelings are powerful and rarely wrong. However, it's important not to respond to a narcissist after a discussion. As outlined in this chapter, communication with them is challenging, making it difficult to reason with someone who refuses to acknowledge their wrongdoings and who seeks to benefit from everything and everyone around them. The advantage you now have is understanding not only what to watch out for in terms of their personality but also how they carry out their mission of controlling their environment. This section will delve deeper into the essentials you need on your side. We will discuss 10 key points for dealing with a narcissist and why they are important. This knowledge gives victims more power to stop narcissists in their tracks. Chapter 3. Never give them ammo. Guard your thoughts, feelings, and inner self carefully. Anything you reveal to a narcissist can be weaponized against you. Beneath their facade of perfection and superiority lies insecurity. While it's possible to feel compassion for them, it's vital not to fall for their manipulative tactics. Maintain a strong poker face around a narcissist. They often view others as either enemies or tools, revealing their worst behavior to those closest to them. Regardless of their actions or words, never give them the satisfaction of knowing they've affected you. This is their primary goal. Don't expect support. Narcissists lack loyalty and will quickly disregard anyone who fails to meet their needs. Engaging with someone self-serving can lead to significant emotional pain. You don't owe them explanations or justifications. In fact, they owe their victims, though expecting this is unrealistic. Attempting to explain your feelings only hands them the advantage, as they are unable to communicate effectively or engage in meaningful dialogue. Their focus is solely on winning. Never minimize or downplay their behavior. Acknowledging how their actions affect you is crucial. Remind yourself that they have no right to make others feel undervalued, and commit to not letting their actions undermine your self-worth. Your self-esteem is precious, don't allow them to damage it. Don't expect accountability from a narcissist. Recognizing that they won't take ownership of their behavior can save you considerable time and energy. If you feel the need to express their responsibility for your peace of mind, feel free to do so, but don't expect them to genuinely take your words to heart. Avoid the temptation to seek revenge or try to outsmart them. Narcissists are experts in manipulation and have honed their tactics over their lifetime. Engaging them at their own game is futile, like a lightweight boxer facing a heavyweight champion. The most effective way to respond is to stay true to your values and maintain your integrity. While some of this may seem obvious, it's critical for those entangled with a narcissist or new to such a relationship to stay informed and protect themselves. The guidelines provided aim to help you focus on your well-being, with the next chapter addressing the effects of narcissistic abuse on overall health. Understanding this impact can empower you to confront your abuser and find the strength to distance yourself from them. The information here seeks to foster realization and acceptance, emphasizing the importance of your health, something that cannot be compromised for long. Manipulation will persist, even when a narcissist realizes their tactics are losing effectiveness, so it's essential to be strong. Here are strategies to navigate interactions with a narcissist. 1. Let go of blame. Trying to make a narcissist accountable is a waste of energy. They will never admit to anything that contradicts their self-image. 2. Empathize with their feelings. Relating to their feelings can sometimes help diffuse tension. A gentle approach and using "we" language can remind them that both parties play a role in the situation. 3. Put yourself first. Prioritizing your own needs may be challenging if you're accustomed to focusing on others, but it's essential to maintain your autonomy. 4. Ignore the bait. When confronted, narcissists may deflect blame or insult you. Resist the urge to defend yourself, as this is what they want. Instead, stay focused on the main issue and tune out distractions. 5. It's okay not to get an apology. Recognize that narcissists lack the remorse or empathy necessary for a genuine apology, as they cannot offer something they do not understand. 6. Feed their ego. If you find yourself trapped in a conversation, distract them by discussing their interests or asking for their advice. This can help redirect the discussion and minimize conflict. This preparation leads into the next chapter, which will focus on recognizing, confronting, and addressing the narcissist's abusive behavior. It's time to take the first steps toward ending the toxic relationship and beginning your journey to recovery. Chapter 4. Recognizing and stopping narcissistic abuse. It's essential to speak up for yourself. Be assertive but avoid crossing into aggression. Setting healthy boundaries is vital. As Karen Samonson notes, one of the most challenging aspects of being in an abusive relationship is recognizing that you have been abused. Acceptance is key to building the courage to end the relationship, reconstruct your self-worth, and maintain resilience throughout the healing process. Acceptance does not equate to condoning the abuse, rather, it involves becoming self-aware of the situation to facilitate positive change. This chapter stands as the culmination of the book. With knowledge about narcissists, their personalities, and their tactics, you'll find it easier to identify and counteract their behavior. It's crucial for those targeted by a narcissist to understand that the treatment they receive is not normal. You deserve better, and the abuse affects more than just your self-esteem, it impacts every aspect of your well-being. The lingering effects of such abuse can leave mental scars, resulting in trauma that may never fully heal. Ultimately, narcissistic abuse undermines your core identity and self-worth, making it challenging to trust or view yourself positively. No individual should possess the power to destroy another person so completely. In this chapter, you'll become acutely aware of how deeply narcissistic abuse has affected you. You will learn to recognize the signs of this abuse so you can respond with healthier, more positive behaviors. You'll discover effective strategies for confronting your abuser and severing ties with them. Additionally, I will highlight how this person has disrupted your overall functioning, providing further motivation to reclaim your life. It's time to realign the fragmented areas of your mind, body, and spirit by reclaiming the power the abuser believes they hold over you. This process may be challenging, so consider reaching out to your primary healthcare provider for support, especially concerning your physical or mental health, as both areas may have suffered significant trauma. All forms of abuse tend to follow a predictable pattern centered around control. Narcissists often draw their targets in with attention and superficial charm, manipulating them into revealing their vulnerabilities. It's important to remember that not all abusers exhibit narcissistic traits, and some individuals may display narcissism without being abusive. Nonetheless, no one has the right to harm others for their own benefit. Here are the main signs to recognize when you're in a narcissistic relationship. 1. Recognize the idealization phase. Initially, a narcissist may present themselves as perfect, placing you on a pedestal. Once they feel secure in the relationship, they often stop making an effort, leaving you to maintain the connection alone. 2. Trust your perspective. It can be challenging when friends and family make excuses for the narcissist's behavior, leading you to doubt your experiences. Stay grounded in your observations, as narcissists often create a facade that shifts blame onto you. 3. Acknowledge your mental health symptoms. If you experience anxiety or depression, this may indicate the toxic nature of your relationship. If you find yourself withdrawing from activities you once enjoyed or feeling hopeless, consider seeking professional help. 4. Notice physical symptoms. Internalizing negativity can manifest as physical ailments such as appetite changes, stomach issues, body aches, insomnia, and fatigue. If these symptoms persist, consult a healthcare professional. 5. Be aware of isolation. Narcissists may isolate you from friends and family, fostering feelings of loneliness. Recognizing this isolation is crucial, as it is a common tactic in abusive situations. 6. Identify emotional numbing. if you find yourself emotionally detached as a coping mechanism, this can be a sign of the impact of the abuse. 7. Rebuild self-trust. A narcissist's devaluation and criticism can severely undermine your self-esteem, making it difficult to trust your judgment. Recognizing this can help you work toward rebuilding your confidence. 8. Establish boundaries. Narcissists often disregard boundaries, which can make it hard for you to enforce them. This will be explored in greater detail in a later chapter, but it's vital to begin recognizing the need for boundaries now. 9. Reconnect with your true self. Being with a narcissistic abuser often alters your identity. Reflect on who you were before the relationship to help rediscover your authentic self. 10. Challenge feelings of inadequacy. Constant blame can lead to a pervasive sense of never doing anything right. Recognize that this blame is unfounded and not a reflection of your worth. Recognizing these signs is essential for regaining control over your life and well-being. Living in such a dynamic can feel like walking on eggshells, constantly trying to avoid conflict or backlash from the abuser. Ignoring the behavior of a narcissistic abuser can lead to long-term mental, physical, and emotional consequences. It's crucial to understand that you deserve to live free from someone else's control. To prevent your situation from deteriorating further, consider the following strategies for confronting the narcissist about their behavior while protecting yourself. 1. Stay calm and assertive. When addressing issues, maintain a calm demeanor. Use I statements to express your feelings without sounding accusatory. 2. Set clear boundaries. Clearly communicate your limits and the consequences for crossing them. Be firm in your stance, and avoid engaging in arguments. 3. Document interactions. Keep a record of incidents or conversations that illustrate problematic behavior. This can help clarify your perspective and provide evidence if needed. 4. Avoid engaging in their games. Narcissists thrive on manipulation. Stay focused on your message and avoid getting drawn into emotional traps or distractions. 5. Seek support. Surround yourself with trusted friends or family members who can provide validation and encouragement. Having a support system can strengthen your resolve. By implementing these strategies, you can begin to reclaim your power and set the stage for healing and growth. 1. Educate them. Narcissists often lack awareness of their interpersonal and communication skills. Use incentives or motivators to encourage them to recognize how their behavior affects others. While they may not fully empathize or understand your perspective, you can at least say you attempted to help them see things from your point of view. 2. Understand your rights. Knowing your rights is crucial for demanding fair and respectful treatment. You have the right to say no, have your feelings respected, and maintain your privacy. Remember, there are no obligations that require you to be at your partner's beck and call. Long-term abuse can erode confidence and self-esteem, but asserting your rights can help regain your power. 3. Be assertive. Building assertiveness takes practice, but it is worthwhile. Standing up for yourself and taking pride in who you are will empower you. With the insights you've gained, you are aware of your desires, the narcissist's motives, and your capabilities. Leverage this knowledge to create your own strategies. 4. Reset your boundaries. Boundaries are invisible lines that protect you from harm. These limits should be non-negotiable, and it's essential that others understand and respect them. Take the time to identify what your boundaries are before clearly communicating them to others. 5. Establish consequences. If someone disregards your boundaries, it's important to communicate consequences. You don't need to make threats, simply express that crossing the boundary is hurtful. If they choose to ignore it, make it clear that you will not accept such treatment. While a narcissist may resist your assertiveness, advocating for yourself is vital for building self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth. By implementing these strategies, you'll be better equipped to recover and heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse on your overall health. Specific effects of narcissistic abuse on health. The impact of narcissistic abuse can vary depending on the duration and severity of the abuse. Here are some ways this form of abuse can negatively affect your health. 1. Self-destructive behavior. Prolonged exposure to a controlling relationship often leads to feelings of shame and guilt, which can manifest as self-harm or substance abuse, mirroring the harm inflicted by the abuser. 2. Overly obliging. Constantly prioritizing another person's needs can lead to a habit of people-pleasing that extends to other areas of your life, making it difficult to prioritize your own needs. 3. Trust issues. Mental abuse can erode your self-trust, resulting in significant trust issues. This may lead to social anxiety, skepticism about others' sincerity, and difficulty trusting what people say. 4. Emotional disconnection. Victims of narcissistic abuse often struggle to understand how to emotionally respond to situations or people. They may find it challenging to express their emotions or connect with their feelings at all. 5. Cognitive issues. Cognitive difficulties can arise from the abuse itself or be exacerbated by physical symptoms related to poor health. Lack of sleep may lead to memory loss, difficulty concentrating, and challenges in performing basic tasks, resulting in feelings of disorientation. 6. Inability to forgive oneself. Lingering feelings of unworthiness, shame, and blame can hinder your ability to forgive yourself for perceived shortcomings or mistakes, trapping you in a cycle of self-criticism. 7. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Triggers can evoke memories of the trauma, often accompanied by damaged self-worth, which may prevent you from pursuing goals or dreams. You might engage in self-sabotage, believing you do not deserve happiness or success. Recognizing these effects is a crucial step toward understanding the full impact of narcissistic abuse on your health and well-being. By addressing these issues and taking proactive steps toward recovery, you can begin to restore your sense of self and improve your overall quality of life. Acknowledging the abuse you've endured and understanding its effects on your health is an important step toward healing. While confronting the internal damage can be challenging, it is also empowering. Recognizing that you have the control and power to change your life can inspire you to look forward to a brighter future.